I love you. Well, howdy, Jeebus. Every time I see you beautiful couch potatoes coming through that front door to sit on the couch with us, I burst inside. It's so just wonderful. You all come in here to hear us gab about all this inane bullshit.
Is that your Paul Walker impersonation?
I mean, it could be. I mean, all you have to do is... Okay, I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh, by the way, before I go off on Paul Walker.
And I am the Faceless Leon, eagerly awaiting what he has to say. And this is a podcast about movies and TV.
I mean, I say I'm going to, go off on Paul Walker. I'm not actually, So, I mean, I was very rude to him in the first movie where I was like, he's not really that, amazing of an actor. He is very much not top tier actor level, but he brings such a joyfulness to his acting that I do want to retract any kind of rude comment I made in the first one. I haven't started editing it, so I don't remember what bad things I said about him.
I don't remember,
but I don't even know if I was completely rude to him.
I remember you being and from what I've heard, he's a great guy. I remember you saying that.
Yeah, he definitely gives off that energy that he was a great person, too. He just seems like a fun and joyful individual. It's just, his characters are pretty one note.
Yeah. I mean, Brian is Brian. I mean, he didn't need a cool, flashy name. He got it in one. It's Brian.
It's Brian. I don't even know what his last name is. Walker? Einstein? Epstein?
It's Brian O'Connor.
O'Connor. He had a fake name in the first one. That's right.
That's right. Yes.
I mean, okay. So here's the boldest choice. We're talking today about the sequel, Too Fast, Too Furious. Now I'm not sure if the second movie is when we're supposed to bring up the naming scheme. I don't think it's right just yet. I feel like we have to let it go for a while.
Right.
But this is a bold choice, Instead of just The Fast and the Furious 2, they said Too Fast, Too Furious. Oh shit, things are getting crazy.
Oh no. That's too many letters. Even though it's the same amount of letters as the other one.
Oh fuck.
We're going to use the numeral 2. Too Fast.
Oh shit.
Too Furious. You couldn't get more 2000s. You couldn't get more early 2000s than this movie.
No, it is beautiful and not a bad choice. I like it. It's bold. It makes you think this movie's going to be hitting you harder than the first movie. And then guess what? Vin Diesel's out of the picture. We're not focusing on him. He was the good character in the first movie that we really enjoyed. No, we're focusing on Brian. We're focusing on Paul Walker.
There's no other characters except for the federal agent, Agent Bilkins, from the first movie. Those are the only two characters that come over. Paul Walker and Thornberry. That's it.
Yeah. Bold fucking choice. Okay, I'm interested. Let's see what you got to give. And then they hired the director John Singleton, who was the director of Boys in the Hood. I don't know if you've ever seen Boys in the Hood.
I've never seen Boys in the Hood.
I watched it as a kid. I don't remember anything about it. I mean, he does a good job. I really enjoyed his directing was actually the character work with Paul Walker and Tyrese Gibson. Even though it kind of stumbles every now and then, they do a great job, and he pulls out some pretty good chemistry from them. So, I do give props to John Singleton. That was
they
good.
really felt like childhood friends. Or like some people who were basically grown up akin to siblings. And I mean, the first thing that Tyrese's character Roman Pierce does is beat the shit out of Brian.
Hey, whoa, you say beat the shit out of it. It was a pretty fair fight. They ended in a stalemate.
All right, sure.
In fact, I even think Brian gets him in a chokehold with his legs, doesn't
That's
he?
Right.
Like gets him to say uncle.
I thought that was a bit later. I thought that was after a little bit of interference from Bilkins. But no, now that I remember it, Bilkins just kind of sat there and watched because he was
he walked over and I think started
Brian for the first movie.
Yeah, I feel like he walked over and just started smoking a cigarette or something. To set that up, by the way, Paul Walker, after the first movie, no longer a cop, which is for the best. Let's be honest.
Yeah. He just wants to go fast.
Yeah, he just wants to go fast, and he's getting out of the Furious. He doesn't want that Furious in his life anymore. He's just racing for fun. He's making big money, just doing all these illegal street drag racing scenes, which
with Ludacris,
which we should say right now, little green and faceless PSA. We do not agree with drag racing. We do not encourage you to go out and drag race. Please drive responsibly, everybody.
The only approval of drag race that I can put a faceless seal on, the ones where they go to a track built for drag racing, and stay in their lane.
Professionals,
yeah. If you want to go fast, don't steal state equipment to close down roads, which they do in this fucking movie.
Yeah, for whatever fucking reason, Bilkins and some other cops come to Brian O'Connor. I keep forgetting his name. I just want to say Paul Walker. But they go to Brian, and they're just like, hey, we'll hire you to get the inside track on this guy who I think is dealing drugs or something. Like, it's something big, or it's bigger than the first movie, but not too bigger than the first movie.
Yeah, it's drugs.
Okay.
This guy's supposed to have connection with the cartel. I think he's...
Is this guy Cole Hauser?
Yes, Carter Verone.
I was going to say, it's the only other name I have written down that I didn't recognize. Yeah, but... Yeah, for whatever reason, they've gone to Paul Walker because they think he's the one who can get into this guy's network, because this guy is he's a speed demon. I can't remember. He's part of these races in some way, and Brian being a good driver.
He's looking for drivers, to help him with particular tasks in which he thinks he needs fast boys.
Yeah, and he needs two drivers. So the FBI or whoever the cop people are in this movie, they're just like, all right, Paul Walker, we're going to choose you and this dinky other cop over here, and Paul Walker's like, I don't think this guy knows cars. So he asks him a question that he makes up on the fly that uses fake car parts, and the guy's like, I don't know, I would choose that one, I guess. And he's like, this guy doesn't even fucking know this, he's like, blah, 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 he's like, instead of you choosing a guy, I'm going to choose a guy, and the reward for both of us is going to be that our criminal records are cleared. Right. And they're just like, for whatever reason, the cops are just like, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. We'll let you choose the driver.
We should let them drive the drive fast cars.
Yeah. And so Paul Walker chooses Tyrese Gibson, a friend from the past who he kind of screwed over. And what's Tyrese Gibson's character's name?
Roman Pierce.
Roman Pierce, that's right. Yeah, Roman Pierce, the idea of his criminal record being cleared because he has a ankle bracelet because he is under house arrest. Is that what that was?
Yes, he's under house arrest. He's not allowed with that. He's not allowed to go a certain amount of yardage from his home, but his home is a Winnebago. So,
which is parked outside of a monster derby court.
Yeah,
it's some kind of.
It's not monster derby. It's just
it's not monster derby. Trucks. It's just
demolition derby.
Yeah, yes, that's it.
That's some shit.
That's what he's
doing. Some redneck shit I could get into. Okay, I was growing up into. I would say my family was fairly redneck. Nothing wrong with that. Like,
no.
I'm just not into family. The aesthetic myself. Like going to NASCAR and stuff. I'm sure it's fun. I don't get any enjoyment from it. However,
I've been to about 3 or 4 races. Yeah. And I read my book throughout all of them.
Oh man, I feel bad for your book because whenever we went, at least, you just get covered in shit flying from the tarmac.
Oh yeah.
And I just don't find that necessarily appealing. But yeah, I feel bad for your book because it was probably covered in that shit.
I don't remember it being hurt, but I was also like sitting typically behind my dad. My dad's a bigger dude, so he probably like blocked most of it.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we used to have a festival once a year in my hometown, named after the town. So we'll call it Hometown Days. And at Hometown Days, they always on the last night had a demolition derby. But like, it was always so late, and typically my folks did not want to stay for it. / they had kids and it's loud noises and shit. But the like 4 or 5 times that I actually got to go to that was like so fun. Like just watching people crash into each other on purpose.
Right? Dude,
it's fantastic.
So, religiously for probably 5 or 6 years now, nearly every single day, at least every month, I have played the game Rocket League, which is a bunch of cars driving really fast and playing soccer. That's what it is. It is cars playing soccer. They can jump, they can flip, they can boost. It's awesome. I love it. I want somebody to figure out how to make this in real life. I know I've seen people play it in real life because I have seen like the demolition cars or like, monster truck kind of things where people are just like running around on a track with a soccer ball, like a huge like, beach ball side like kind of thing. And it doesn't work well, but like they try and it's kind of funny to watch.
I bet in 30 years somebody will figure it out.
Yeah,
and then it will become the nation's pastime.
Oh, it'll be fucking beautiful. If anybody can figure out how to make cars actually act like realistic, movable things that can jump and flip and have fun.
Yeah. I like the hockey. I have to say, this might get me stoned on the internet, but I like the hockey version better. Snow Day.
Yeah, I mean it is pretty fun. I really like that. Yeah. They have a hoops version. You can play basketball.
So
I haven't really figured that one out. It's really hard for me, but I like it enough to play it. But
I started getting good at it, and then I was like, and then I stopped paying for PlayStation Plus, and I was like, okay, this is not nearly as fun without somebody to play with. So I haven't played much more.
Yeah. That's the only reason I really have PlayStation Plus. That's not true. There's other games I play online, but that's the one that I play, like, again, every single day. It is a meditative calmness, which is hilarious because you get so mad at it. But it's that kind of, like, it's just that, like, burn off the energy mad. Like, you're not actually angry. You just have something to vent towards. And then once you're done venting, you turn the game off and you're just like, fucking teammates, they're all so stupid. And then you sit back and you're just like, now I can relax.
So much better about my day. So, if Rocket League is the religion, are the Fast and Furious movies the religious texts?
Hell fucking yeah, they are. But we're still in the like boring Exodus Deuteronomy phase.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, sorry to our religious fanatics. The Bible is never boring. I've read it twice. It's so entertaining. Every single book is just a riveting joyride of bull.
Man, I've never heard someone talk so poetically about numbers before.
Yeah, like I'm sorry to derail us from Too Fast, Too Furious, but but Deuteronomy and like Numbers, like books, I think 4 and 5 of the Bible, yeah. Oh, those were so fucking hard to get through. But I was getting paid $5 per book I read by my grandmother's neighbor, so I was. And I had to summarize them to her. And this was before the internet was a thing in my house. Like, we didn't even have a computer at this time, I feel like. I was, like, 8 years old. We might have had a computer, but if we did, I was limited on internet time because it took up the phone line. But so I had to actually read the frickin' books so that I could summarize them to my grandma's neighbor and get $5. And Deuteronomy and Numbers really, really were fucking hard to get through for an 8-year-old. Like, reading the King James Bible, geez. I'm just like, I don't get any of this, and I don't understand why we're focusing on any of this. None of these weight systems are used anymore. I don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Why is this still in the book? Well, this is like the 1000th edition. Why?
Right. We couldn't have updated this to pounds and inches? Oops, I'm American. Oops. Meters and pounds.
Centimeters?
Well, I'm trying to think. Do they still use pounds elsewhere? That's not just an American system.
Oh wait. It's grams.
Grams.
Yeah.
Right.
Metric system. Yeah.
I'm gonna edit all of this out.
No,
y'all won't realize how stupid I am.
Well, okay. Let's talk about this movie. So, I do want to mention, because we haven't mentioned, Eva Mendes is in this movie, playing Monica Fuentes, and she is Paul Walker and Tyrese's. I guess he was just billed as Tyrese in this movie, according to IMDb. Anyway,
right?
Yes,
they're filled with errors, though.
Yes, who fucking cares? Anyhow, Tyrese and Paul, they have to go through Ava because she's already undercover for Cole, Carter Verone. I'm going to stop using
our villain.
The villain. I confuse myself by going to their first names, and now I don't know what to do. Anyhow, she's the one who's
so good at this.
Yeah, she's the one that's like, let's hire these guys. She also brings up these buff muscle car guys who are just like career criminals to race up against them because they want to make it convincing. And that Paul and Tyrese want these jobs.
Exactly.
That's pretty much the beginning and plot of the story, but they get together and
and Tyrese doesn't trust her because Tyrese, the way she got undercover is by getting under the covers with Cole Hauser, our villain. Yeah. And Tyrese believes that she has gone so undercover that she is now flipped and is working for the enemy. And Paul Walker mostly thinks with his penis. So he is like totally on board Team Eva, thinking that she's a good guy because he is attracted to her, wants to have sex with her because he doesn't remember the true love of his life in the first movie because Vin Diesel's not even in this fucking movie and there's nothing about family in this movie.
Hey, no, okay, we got Paul and Tyrese. Their brotherly love is pretty good. I think that's honestly the most redeeming part of the movie. Honestly, I don't have that much problem with this movie. It's not like a great movie, I wouldn't say, but it's also like I don't have that many faults with it. Besides, there is some pretty blatant sexism in there, but it's racing girls. It's kind of part of the shtick, I guess. It's kind of like Bond girls, It's like, I mean, it's obviously like a sexist interpretation of women, but it's also part of the genre. I don't know how I necessarily feel about it.
Well, they're mostly trying to appeal to a more male audience. They know that the bulk of their audience will be more male, more masculine. So that's, it's exploitative for them. But that is also what they're going for.
Right. Yeah.
So it's weird. It's not.
Well, also though, like a lot of it has to deal with consent too. Like if somebody is consenting to play a highly sexualized character, I think that it's okay because, I mean, it's not like people don't want to go watch sexy movies. They do. Yeah. But I just think like to be that sexy. And women and men alike, everybody likes to be sexy once in a while.
Yeah.
And
there's plenty of good sexy men in
this too. That's okay too. That's a perfectly legitimate stance. But what I'm trying to say is, while I have enjoyment from some of these scenes, I know that it's really been a recent thing where women have been treated fairly well on set. So I am worried about, I don't know though. I've never heard any rumors about the makings of these films. I'm just saying. Right. I'm just throwing that out there. Is that it feels a little gross because I know that the industry is gross. Yeah,
exactly. As long as Harvey Weinstein and those kind of characters didn't have much involvement on set, I feel like it seems like most people had fun. Everybody's always kind of having fun in the scenes. Obviously, it's just a staged. Sure. Yeah, it's just a staged crowd, so it's probably more like a bunch of extras, and they just all are paid $200 or whatever to be there that day and to just laugh and have fun. My biggest issue outside of the sexism is the lack of Vin Diesel. That's where I'm at with this movie.
It would be nice if Vin was in this.
It really does hurt from not having Dom's presence, but it's fine because Paul Walker and Tyrese Gibson are pretty well together, and both of them are going to come back in other films, obviously. They're part of the family. So it's the family does grow in this film.
I actually didn't know that they brought Roman Pierce back.
Yeah, I believe he comes back, and I also want to say that Ludacris comes back, but I'm not entirely certain.
His character's name was Tej, I guess, but he's Ludacris. I mean, what else are you supposed to call him? You know what though? This movie definitely had less of dumb stunts. No, they did the bridge jump. The bridge jump in the very first race. Ludacris was like, "Oh, look at this special something I got for the race," and he has this guy raise the fucking bridge, and they have to ramp, and that's straight out of the games, though. Have you ever sat in one of the arcade chairs and played the game?
I don't think so. Actually, no.
It's a lot of fun. I used to be pretty good at it. I, of course, though, I was the 18-year-old server at the restaurant that had the chair. So just using a little bit of tip quarters.
Especially if you find the tip, if the people are still they're walking out the door and they see you with the tip money going.
No,
God damn it.
I did do it on my break only once, and they're like, "Dude, you can't do this. Why it's your shift?" And I was like, "Oh, all right, fine." So I just always take 15 to 20 minutes and do a couple races after my shift and shit like that.
That's great shit. That first race was actually a lot of fun. It was. When they do the Nas, it's not. I mean, there's still a little bit of that. Yeah, it's still a bit of that warp space feel, but I don't know if John Singleton was the one who directed the action scenes. Sometimes you have second directors who will film those kind of scenes before everything's in place. But so I don't know who directed the action scenes or the racing scenes, but if it was John Singleton, great fucking job. He definitely took from the first one and improved it so that it felt more like a race.
Definitely.
Because again, the one shot I remember in the first one that really pissed me off was when the camera was on a different road following parallel with the car, and everything passing in between it was blocking our view of the car. And it's it just felt muddy and a dirty shot, and I was just this doesn't feel like a race because I can't see what the fuck's going on. Whereas with Too Fast, Too Furious, it's more like how you have a kind of an overhead shot where we see the cars zip by, and sometimes we're keeping up with them, most times they're just going really fast past us. It's much better handled. I really did enjoy the racing of this movie more. It was a lot of fun.
I 100% will agree. Another thing about this movie is that the goal of Paul Walker is much clearer than in the first movie. In the first movie, they're investigating this guy, but it takes them so long to actually get evidence that he's a part of these crimes that you kind of forget why Brian's there in the first place, except for that the cops keep on slapping you in the face saying, like, hey, you better figure something out.
Yeah. But we ain't going anywhere with this film.
Yeah.
Get in there.
You're not going anywhere with this film. I love that. That's pretty much how it feels. But in this one, I mean, their goals are very clear cut. I mean, you know what's going to happen. There's never a point in this movie where you feel like you don't know what's going to happen. Though I have to say, I did enjoy the when they actually go to do the big job and they have to ride around with the lackeys of this cartel guy or whatever he's a part of. And they start enjoying the ride. Like, I remember one of them, I don't remember which one it was, but he was like, man, you're a good driver.
Right. And then there comes a moment where the lackeys, as you called them, have to turn on the drivers. You know, it's like that, you know, it's like, all right, time to stab him in the back. And then the one's just like, man, after that drive, I really don't want to do this.
Yeah.
but I'm still gonna.
I'm still gonna. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Sorry to spoil the one scene, but no, you kind of obviously know it's going to happen. Like, you get the idea of what kind of villain Cole Hauser is immediately. And
definitely.
I don't know, it's weirdly more intriguing than the first one. Like, you're right. Yeah. You know their goals more. Paul Walker also feels more like a dirty criminal who's kind of like snidely getting under the police's skin rather than a policeman. Like, I'm sorry, I'll still never believe Paul Walker as a policeman. I don't get it. It's weird.
But I also don't necessarily get him as a street racer in LA. But
I do, because he definitely gives that like car guy feel, like the kind of guy who loves his cars. Like he has that energy to him that he seems like a surfer dude who likes fast cars.
I don't know. He just, in that first movie, he felt like he stuck out a little bit too much for me. And I don't know. I don't know if that's some kind of racial lens I'm putting on there or something for some reason. But he did seem like he really stuck out. He was one of the few white people there, I guess. But though he does have, I swear, he wears the same shirt throughout the whole movie. And it's a West Coast Chopper shirt. And it's like, you think if they were going to have him wear the same shirt throughout the whole movie, it wouldn't say something on it. Like, oh, wait, no. No, there was this other time. There was one costume change where he's all of a sudden wearing, like, it's like a bowling shirt. It's either a bowling shirt or a mechanic shirt. I can't tell, but it says Brian on it. And he just shows up where I don't remember this scene at all. I'm totally blanking what's going on. I remember he walks in and he says to Roman that he's like, yeah, let's do this. And I just remember saying, I got my Brian shirt on.
My mom sewed my name in it for me, so I wouldn't forget it's mine.
Yeah. We can't go wrong. Now, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about this movie. Because there was a legitimate scene that I was like, I couldn't tell if I thought it was goofy or horrifying. And that was the scene with the fucking rat, man. The bucket and the rat.
Oh, yeah.
That was some fucked up shit.
Yeah, it's really out of place.
Yeah, it does. Well, it's really like, because up to that point, like, yeah, you don't really like Carter Verone very much. But
who?
Cole Hauser.
Oh, right.
Yes. You don't really like his character very much, but he doesn't seem like a completely horrible dirtbag guy until this scene where he decides to take this cop that's on his payroll and torture him to agree to do this, to do something.
Well, it's like when he becomes a Bond villain. Like, because you see how, like, ruthless and cruel he is, and up until now, it's like, this is a silly Fast and Furious movie, and it's like, what is this guy doing here? Like, he is way too oddly villainous. Like, as you said, it's a very fine line between goofy and like, ugh, like, fuck. But, and for me, it kind of leans way too far into goofy just because of how Brian and Roman react, because they're both trying to keep a straight face and they're just like, fuck, like, this is beyond us now, man.
But I do have to say that Mark Boone Jr. in that scene playing the detective, the guy getting tortured, he does a great job. And there's only really one other thing I remember him in that I can think of, and that is
Batman?
Batman, yeah. That was the only thing, the Chris Nolan Batman movies.
Yeah, which one was it? Dark Knight, or who did he play in? I can't remember, because I remember him.
I think he was supposed to be Bullock.
Okay, because I remember him in it. I just can't remember who he was in it.
He was definitely Gordon's partner in the movie.
Right. So yeah, I think he was. Yeah, I think he was their Bullock.
All of a sudden, I'm getting this vision of him with a much wider beard and hair, playing some kind of like wizard or cleric character in something that I watched recently, but it was real brief, and I don't remember what it was.
Put him opposite Danny McBride. They could be brothers.
Or he could be his dad.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But I mean, Danny's about the same age, wouldn't you say?
Well, this movie was back in 2003. So
yeah, but the Batman, he's not that much older in the Batman movie.
Yeah, but that movie's not that much older than this. Not much younger than this movie.
Danny McBride's in his 40s or 50s too.
That's right. He's in his 40s or 50s, but I think this guy is in his 50s or 60s.
They could be brothers.
They could be brothers. They could also be father and son.
But would you say you are ready for closing statements then? For
I am.
Too Fast, Too Furious?
Too Fast, Too Fasterous. This movie, I'm going to straight up say that it was better than the first one. I really do think so.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed watching it. I was really kind of hesitant of how I was going to feel about this movie, because I remember kind of liking these movies as a kid and liking the first one more.
Right.
But I think what turned me off as a younger person for Too Fast, Too Fasterous was the fact that there was no Vin Diesel. I'm like, why the hell isn't Vin Diesel in this movie? He was the main character.
He should be in it. And guess what? We're going to do the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, and he'll be in it for like less than a minute, around the
end. That's a spoiler, Greenie.
He makes an appearance. Oh, fuck off. It's a 14, 15-year-old, 16-year-old movie. I can't remember when it came out. It's old as shit.
Well, I'm going to say this movie's a lot of fun. There is some like dated things, and obviously it's almost 20 years old. But it is a lot of fun, and I give it a face. That's what I'll say about it.
Nice. I give it 2.5 stars. I think I gave the first one 2 stars, so like agreed. I like it more. It's I like the directing more. I liked Paul Walker's chemistry. Even though I miss Vin Diesel a lot, Paul Walker works really well off of Tyrese Gibson. And moments. There's moments where they stumble with their chemistry, but like it kind of works for their characters because they kind of like are distanced from each other in regards to Roman hating Brian.
Right.
Excuse me, Tyrese hating Paul. And
you're excused.
But I agree. It's more fun. It's more intriguing. Yeah, I think the villain's a joke, but the goal towards stopping the villain, as you said, is more realized and like just more interesting than what it was in the first one, because it's kind of like jumbled and like who the fuck cares in the first one. It's just let's be friends and family.
The first one is about the gray areas that people live in. Like that one I feel like was trying to say more, but it was like it didn't realize that it was a car movie.
Right. It was trying to say a message, but didn't realize it had a voice in that market.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, we're preaching to you, and everybody's just like, ooh, babes and cars. And it's just like, oh shit. They didn't understand we were trying to preach to them. Fuck.
Dang it.
But no, we'll come back at you with The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Again, I don't think we'll touch upon the naming scheme then, but I might break and just slip into it.
Yeah, who fucking knows? So, okay, so here we go. Here's the thing that you guys should do. If you like our show, you should head on down to patreon.com/greenandfaceless and check out what benefits we have for our tier patrons there. And then you could decide if you want to be a part of our lovely little potato family and take a vote on our monthly potato pick episode. Curated
Indeed.
And voted upon by our patrons. And we do
and
that.
You can vote from the heart or you can vote from the trollish heart.
Yeah.
So either way.
Which we call the trart. Yes. Vote from your trart.
But yeah, you could either hear us talk about a movie you love or torture us and make us watch, Leprechaun.
Yeah. $2 to become a patron minimum. That's 50 cents a show. You think the show's worth 50 cents? Hit us up.
Yeah.
If you think it's worth less, I'm sure you could donate less. I don't know. There might be a way to do that. But
you can donate us 50 cents.
You don't get the vote. Yeah.
At the very least, we're happy you donated your ears to us.
Yes. We will always do this for free. So thank you for listening.
Yes. Thank you so much. I have been the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. Safe travels, and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. If you like the show, please show your support by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Like, follow, subscribe, wherever you might listen. We also now have a Patreon account. If you feel so inclined to support us in a financial manner, please become a patron by visiting patreon.com/greenandfaceless. You can also find more information about us on our Facebook account or on the FictionWorks 19 Instagram account. Thank you so much for listening.